What is the machine we created yesterday? Yes, so yesterday we have, see if I say Docker PS, you see all our particular Nginx containers which we created, they are still running, right? I mean, like, you understood, right? It's same like your virtual machine only, isn't it? So whatever the particular 3 websites which we created, they are still running with your, oh, what do you say, the same specific IP which we are running yesterday. Everything is like still live now. So we were like little bit confused with that specific task called, what do you say, uh, data volumes, right? I mean, like, mounts, data mounts. Let's see how we can do the same specific thing. Now, what I'll do is like, let me go and remove these things because these are like lot in number, right? So Docker container hyphen f, let's say Nginx. Yesterday someone asked, right, will it go with the star? No, that's not taken. Right? So let's take Nginx 1. Maybe, I think like this it should work. Nginx 2. हाँ अच्छा Nginx 3 Mysql. हाँ, yes, it's going with that thing, right? Sessions recording, right? Maybe like spelling mistake. Yeah. Docker PS. Because it is already running, right? Container RM. Right. Right. If I say Docker PS, there is nothing currently. Right. Now what I'll do is like, let's go and create new particular container. Now yesterday we have given the website related data, right? But now what I want to do, I basically want to go and store the logs, right? Whatever the logs which are getting generated in my container, I want them to be stored under this particular machine. Let's say what I'll do is like, I don't want this thing, so let's say mkdir, let's say something like nginx hyphen logs. Now I created a directory called nginx logs. I'll say docker run, let's say in the background mode, and let's say I want to give the volumes, and what volume I want to give, slash home ready and slash nginx logs, right? And where do I want them to point to? So this is very important, this you should know. So basically whenever you are running nginx, right, all the logs are generally going to be stored under var log nginx. That is important. Slash var slash log slash nginx. Now I don't want the data, I'm only bothering about logs currently, right? And let's say I want to run this on port number something like 8990. Small p indicates your own port, right? And in the background it runs on port 80. right? And where I want to basically keep this particular things, I mean, like, what is the image I want to use? Nginx, not CentOS, right? Right, it's Nginx image. Now this will basically run up, and if I don't give hyphen name, it will automatically take some random name, right? Now once I run this, now if I say docker ps, so it says some jovial loveless. So it is running one particular container in the backend right now. So let me go to the browser. So on which port am I running it? 8990, right? So it is running on my port 8990. Now I'll get the basic welcome to Nginx page, because I was not changing anything in the document room. Yesterday I changed in the document room. That's why it was pointing it out there, right? Let me run a couple of times here. So I'm just like refreshing it up, and let's say I'll go and try something like hello, right? So basically I just run something, right? And let me run some specific things. Now if I go and check Nginx logs, right? What are the logs which are generating in my container are getting updated here. Making sense? I mean, like, where to apply this concept? Basically, understanding this concept is very easy, but applying makes very senseful actually, right? You need to understand where to apply that particular volumes concept, data biomes. Yes, simply create one more volume, isn't it? No, simply, right? Now let's say, now currently Docker PS is there, right? Now this particular thing has started, and if I say Docker uh, Nginx logs, and let's say there is something called like Nginx home, right? Now let's say I want to basically apply this particular volume right now. So I'll say Docker run, not run, Docker volume attach. Create a volume. Okay, there are like only four options. So you can create, inspect, prune. Okay, maybe it's not possible. Just let me check. Because it's got like only four options, right? Okay, he's telling that go with the multiple hyphen V options. Hyphen V followed by again hyphen V. So what I'll do is like, so he's telling, but you cannot attach to a running container. You need to first stop it, then attach back again. Right? So let's say Docker. So anyway, I'm having logs, right? So I'll keep those logs there itself. Docker container. Sorry. No, no. You can stop or anyway. If I remove it, what happens? The data is there, right? I don't need to basically go and work with that. Nope. Because it's already started. Okay, you want me to stop and attach it? Okay, let's check right on Docker container, stop this particular container. Right, it stopped, and if I say Docker PS, right, it's no longer running. So let's go back to our now this is going to start a new particular container. So if I give -v one more time, -v. So yesterday we have given /home Ravi /nginx home, and it should get attached to slash, what was it, user share nginx html, right? User share nginx /html. Yep. Now if I say yes, let's try to check it out. 8890. Yes. And the logs are also getting generated in that specific place. Right? -v twice. Right? And let's try the same thing with your multiple containers right now. So let's say I want to work with, so I did not show you something, right? So when you're having multiple containers, how to link them. So we got an option called -hyphen link, which is very important as well, right? Generally, you'll keep database somewhere, your file system somewhere, isn't it? I mean, like, let's say the project files which are required to run the project are different. The database is completely different. Two different services. I want to run them with the help of containers right now, right? So what I'll do is like, so let's go and stop this particular container. Right. Let's see, .ps. Okay, nothing is running up. Now what we'll do is like, we'll do the same particular implementation. We'll first create, like day before yesterday, we'll go with some MySQL container. Then today we'll work with some new image. There is a WordPress image directly built for it, so that you cannot go and like download that particular tar file and do everything. Everything is there in one particular container already. Once I go and work with that container, right, you'll get to know like how it is easy to do the same particular WordPress site which we did earlier, right? So let's go and search for, so we already know how to use the MySQL container, right? So I'll keep it aside, and apart from this, I'll also go and work with another new container. So the image I want to currently use is WordPress, right? You see, there is already WordPress official image available for you. This is what I was saying. Why? Because your WordPress definitely needs database, right? It definitely needs a database to connect and store all this particular information. Now, you already have some MySQL running. You are linking that MySQL to the image, I mean like the container which you are going to create. Making sense? So that's how you can directly go and attach your two containers which are running parallelly, right? So what I'll do is like, I'll do, and there are like lots of things here, and which port you want to run, right? Because WordPress should run on one specific port, right, when you are running it up. So I'll go with the same approach, right? So sorry, I did not get, I mean like on the fly is creating some these particular things. So let's say I need the database username and password. On the fly, you can create with the environment variables if you want. Right? I think, but this is good enough for us, I guess. We can directly go and work with this thing. So let's see. If not, at least this one. On specific port, I want to run it up. Right. So first, we need to start the MySQL container. Right. So I'll say Docker run. Let's say I want to start it in the background mode, and let's say I want to give some name. Let's say WordPress hyphen MySQL. Right. And I want to go with some environment variable. No, environment variable is for giving passwords and these kind of things. Yesterday we have given the password for MySQL login, right? So I need to specifically say some password over there. So I'll say MySQL underscore root, right? Underscore root underscore password, and let's say something like my pass, right? And for this I want to create a new volume maybe, right? Because I want to store it for maybe second or third time, right? So what I'll do is like see. Let's see if we have any specific. No, so let's say mkdir. Let's put something like wp hyphen MySQL, right? And similarly, I'll say WordPress hyphen something like mm, data, file data if not. Right? One is to store the file system, another is to store the database, two particular directories. Right? Now I'll say the same thing. So let's go up and right my pass, and I want to give the volume. And the volume, I think even this should work, I guess, because it anyway is my home directory, right? Tilde slash wp hyphen MySQL, right? And where it should basically go to right? And let's say the image I want to use is MySQL. No, where is file data? File data should be created for WordPress image, isn't it? This is only database. I want to isolate completely. This will only store the database which is there for my website, one particular container, right? Right. So if I say Docker PS, yes, it is going with wp hyphen MySQL, and I have also given that the data where I want to store is this particular location, right? And what is the next thing I want to go with? So maybe when you are working with CMS kind of WordPress, right? You remember that we need to create a database inside it, right? Let's go and create one specific database, right? So I'll say uh, Docker PS, right? So wp hyphen MySQL is running. I'll say Docker execute hyphen it, something like wp hyphen MySQL, and I'll say bash. Right, I'm here now. Let's say MySQL hyphen u root hyphen p, right? So basically I'm just like want to create a database inside it, right? Clear till here? So I'm giving specific password and it was my pass. I logged into the specific database and I'll say create database, let's say something like WordPress. Right. So I got a database called WordPress, which is running in my container right now. Right. So I'll exit out and exit out. Done. So now if I look under my wp hyphen MySQL, yes, we got particular WordPress with us. right? Now what we'll do is like we'll go and we'll create one more container for WordPress. Now basically that WordPress already has an inbuilt web server for it, so that you cannot go and create one more particular container for it. That's how your WordPress image is built, right? So I'll go and create custom WordPress container right? And while creating, I should make sure that it gets attached to this MySQL container, which is running in the backend right now, right? So what I'll do, I think like you can use the same particular command, right? I'll say docker run, let's say something like WordPress, right? And let's say hyphen hyphen link, and where it should link. See, it says link to some SQL, right? What is the MySQL which we are running here? WP hyphen MySQL, right? Making sense? I'll link it. And what type of database it is? Okay, that is MySQL database, right? So basically, you need to save the same particular thing. The type of container you are using, I mean like image which you are using for that. It's a MySQL image, right? Name keeps on changing, but this would be same for, no need to, right? So basically this WordPress, right? This image called WordPress, by default it will look for a database called WordPress. This image, you see what it says? Just study it out. WordPress. In case you want to give your own particular database, you need to go with the environment variables. If I go down like that, so you need to give hyphen e, then yeah, hyphen e WordPress underscore db underscore name equal to something like WP, WP1, WP2. Yesterday we did same thing, right? I mean like in my like particular MySQL container, if I am giving the password, I am giving that hyphen e followed by that a root password. Similarly, when you are creating, you will say hyphen e followed by WordPress underscore db name equal to some user defined database, right? So basically, when you are working mostly with containers or Docker, right, it is always, what do you say, good to follow the documentation. It should be more clear actually. Once you do 2 or 3 particular steps, it becomes very easy to follow the entire documentation, right? Now what I'll do is like, now I'll go and I'll attach it to this automatically to this thing, because it is defaulting to WordPress, and we already know that the password for root was also there for us, right? So what I'll do is like, I'll link it to MySQL, right? And apart from that, yeah, I need to say on what port it is running as well, right? So let's say I want to run my WordPress on 8080, right? But in the backend it is running on 80, right? And let's say yes, I want to start it in the background mode, and I'll say the image I want to use is WordPress. Making sense, right? Environment. So if you want to pass something on dynamically, something if you want pass dynamically, you can go ahead. Anything. So he'll give the options. You see, not only password. So what are the things you can change? You can change host, you can change user, you can change. So that's it, right? Equal to give that name. Equal to give that name. So all these things you can go and modify it up. Right? Now what I'll do is like, I'll go and run the same specific thing. Now it should start 2 containers for me. One is MySQL, another is WordPress. And it should automatically go and attach it to that particular MySQL thing as well. Right? Right. And if I say Docker PS, yes, I have 2 things running up. Right? Now let's go to the specific page and I'll say 8080. Yes. We had huge steps for doing the same thing in our earlier classes. With two commands, you are able to set up WordPress right now, isn't it? Docker inspect, yesterday we have seen it. Docker container inspect or Docker volume inspect, anything is fine. Right. Now let's say what I'll do is like I'll go and I'll work with this thing. Let's say something like Docker demo. I'll go with some admin user, some admin password, and I'll say something like admin@admin.com, and I'll say install WordPress. Yes, it went and it installed it up, and you see it was like matter of seconds. Right? And let's say I'll go back to my admin and admin. And what I'll do is like, so let's say I'll change the appearance of the site. So let's go ahead and install some themes. And if I go to my website, yep, this is how my website is looking actually, right? And actually this data is being stored under two places. One is file system, another is database. Now what I'll do is like I'll remove both of these containers, but I still have the data with me. That is important, containers. So whenever you're working with containers, make sure that you're working with like you're storing your data permanently, which is very, very important when you're working with Docker, right? So what I'll do is like, let's go and remove both the containers. I'll say Docker container. Yes, you can directly say rm, right? rm-f. I'll say WordPress, and I'll say wp-mysql. Okay. Okay, I got it twice. Okay, it already removed WordPress, so it says no container. Now if I say Docker PS, both are gone. But one thing is I'm safe. Data, right? So if I say ls, what was that? MySQL underscore WP MySQL. Yes, I have WordPress data with me. Sorry, MySQL data with me, and also I created one more thing called WP file data. If I say ls WP hyphen file data. Okay. Okay, we did not attach. Then we are gone. Right? So you only have database right now. You are not having volume of this particular thing. So let's see how he is attaching actually. So he is attaching any volumes. Did not give that example at all. The volumes. Okay. So let's go and attach our own volume. Right? Because yes, we did not attach the volume at all, right? That's the reason why the data was wiped out. So what I can do right now is, if not just like, let's say, if I create MySQL right now, it will point to the same old directory. Okay. rm-rf wp-mysql, because I'll just like delete that particular thing. Okay, permission then and if I say, okay, what is the WP? Did I, okay, rm wp. And ls file data. Yes, it's empty. So I'll create wp hyphen mysql as well. Right. Now I'll run the same specific commands earlier we run. So let's say right. Okay, I'll say it like container wp hyphen mysql. I'll say this one is one. Why? Because it's already started, right? I need to remove that. Right. So if I say docker ps, yes, I have my MySQL container running up, and I'll go and run the right. But we missed something here. Volumes. We didn't attach the volumes, right? Let's go and attach the volumes as well. So I'll say the image I want to use is WordPress hyphen d. Let's say hyphen v volume. No, I removed that one, right? Yes. What is that one? That's MySQL, right? So there is no dependency for that. Right? There is no dependency for MySQL. It will run in isolation, no problem with that. At the time of linking, I need to make sure I'm like linking it correctly. Database? Okay. We need to create the WordPress database. No. I deleted that directory, right? So how your WordPress works is basically based upon your port number and IP address. If I create the same thing again, it might give me some error database connection, this kind of messages. Right? So fine, let's go and do that thing as well. So what I'll do is like docker container execute hyphen it mysql 1 bash and mysql hyphen u root hyphen p, and it is my pass. Then I'll say create database WordPress. Right, let's exit out. So what was the volume we created? WP hyphen file data, right? Yep. And this should point to where actually? So how are you going to check that? Huh. Yes, we need to check in the Docker file, isn't it? Then only I'll get to know which web server it is using internally. Is it using Apache or is it using Nginx? No. Now see, WordPress is running, right? Now WordPress is running means I definitely should have a web server, right? That web server is actually coming from your WordPress image. Let's check what is there in that actually. Now if I go and check on this Docker file, you see it is using PHP as well as Apache. Both are built in there, isn't it? So basically your WordPress also needs PHP to be installed. So from this image you are getting both Apache and PHP, right? And you see what's the volume? So that is where I need to mount it up, right? Making sense? So that's why I told you Docker file and the documentation is very important, right? So I'll go back here and I'll say it should point to slash var www slash stn. Everything looks good. Okay, I think WordPress will not work. WordPress 1 I should give, I guess. So there are like lots of things we need to change because already we added WordPress earlier. You cannot create the same container with the same name again and again. Right? I'll say we removed it. Sure. Because again I need to run it. That's the reason, right? So this is for sure. This is MySQL one because I created the MySQL one earlier. Right? So why? Just like I'll create it anyway, no problem. I'll just select WordPress one. Now we'll have two containers running up, right? And this is linked to WP MySQL one. Why? Because the new container which is running is one. No. So okay, let me log in because you're getting confused, right? I'll open one more session. Right, if I say docker ps, right, so I'm attaching to this old container, right? Now if I say docker ps, yes, I have two particular containers running up, so I'll go there and I'll do refresh. Yep, let's say demo docker. I'll say admin. I'll say admin. So let's install WordPress. I'll say login. Admin login. I'll go to appearance, themes. I'll say add new. I'll say some popular theme. Let's activate it. And if I go and view my site, yes, we have demo docker with me, right? Now let's go and remove it up again. Right, so I'll say docker container rm-f. One is WordPress 1 followed by wp-mysql. And before removing the container, let's check whether the data is there or not. Right? wp-file data. Tilt లేదా? So maybe like we'll go ahead. So that is the problem, right? So let's check. Yeah. Yeah. So actually what happened right now, it created a named volume. Making sense? So what we'll do is like, we'll run the same particular command, but this time I'll say it is my WordPress 2 and let's say I'm not sure, let's check it up. Because with the volumes you cannot attach directly to a container which is there. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I mean, like let's say you made this kind of error. Yes. It's no way that you can connect back to the same particular container again. Yeah, you want to retrieve it from that specific old volume. That's what you're trying to say. I mean, like let's say you're already having something called like what do you say, MySQL container running up, and you want to attach it to it. So hyphen volumes, but that command has so many limitations. That's why I'm not going with that particular command. docker volumes from. Yeah. Hyphen volumes from. This is a particular command you need to write it up. So let's check if it works that way. So let's say we created the volume, right? Now let me remove both the things. Right? I'll remove MySQL container. I'll remove WordPress container. Right? One is mount point, one is volume. Yes, stopping the container also you can add attached. No problem. Okay, fine. I mean, like I want to show that generally, if you stop anyway, the data is there. Right? When you remove only, the data would be gone. If you start and stop again, data would be there, right? So that's why I was like, okay, let's go and docker container stop WordPress 1 and wp-mysql 1. Right. Both the containers have been stopped. Now let's create new containers. When I create the new container, I should get the same site where we already installed it. Yes, you can attach. But if you attach again, it will come the same thing, right? What is the meaning of Docker volumes then? If you stop, data is there, persistent. If you remove only, data is gone. Right? If I start the same containers again, I'll get the data anyway, no problem. Isn't it? Now if you say, I'm going here and I'll refresh it. Will I get it? I'll not get it. What I'll do again, I'll say Docker container start WordPress and start WordPress 1. MySQL 1. Okay, it says it cannot link to non-running container. So let's first start MySQL. Right, and let's run. No, both are running up. Right, and if I come back and if I do a refresh, yes, I get my demo back. But this is not the purpose of volumes and the data mounts, right? If you stop anyway, you will get it back. The purpose is when you remove the containers, data is gone. That is where actually the purpose of both volumes and these particular things comes into the picture. Making sense? Confused? Now let's say I mean like ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏం చేసామంటే లైక్ ఆ టూ కంటైనర్స్ని స్టాప్ చేసాం కదండి. నేను అప్పుడు ఈ సైట్ చూసాను, చూడలేకపోయాను స్టాప్ చేసినప్పుడు. నేను నా కోలని 8080 చెప్పినప్పుడు డేటా లేదు కాబట్టి, డేటా అని కదా యాక్చువల్ కంటైనరే లేదు కాబట్టి కంటైనర్ స్టాప్ అయిపోయింది. రైట్, మళ్ళీ కంటైనర్ స్టార్ట్ చేయండి వచ్చేసింది, అంటే డేటా కంటైనర్లో ఇంకా ఉంది ఉంటుంది. అటాచ్ చేయడం ఎందుకు నాకు అర్థం అవ్వట్లేదు. ఇప్పుడు డేటా అటాచ్ అవ్వకపోతే అసలు నాకు సైట్ ఎలా వచ్చింది? నేను అదే అంటున్నా, బై డిఫాల్ట్ కంటైనర్ రిమూవ్ చేయలేదు. అవును, కంటైనర్స్ రిమూవ్ చేసే డేటా ఎక్కడ ఉంటుంది? వాల్యూమ్స్లో ఉంటుంది. ఒకటి వాల్యూమ్లో ఉంది, ఒకటి మనం 2 టైప్స్ వాడాము ఇక్కడ. ఒకటి వాల్యూమ్ వాడాము, దేనికి వర్డ్ ప్రెస్కి వాల్యూమ్ వాడాము, రైట్. దెన్ వర్డ్ ప్రెస్కి వచ్చేసి వాడిసే మౌంట్ పాయింట్స్ వాడాము, రైట్. ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇవి రెండు తీసేసి మళ్ళీ కొత్త 2 కంటైనర్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు. పర్పస్ అదనమాట యాక్చువల్గా, మీకు అర్థమవుతుందా? ఇప్పుడు నేను కంటైనర్స్ రిమూవ్ చేశాను, మళ్ళీ మీకు వర్డ్ ప్రెస్ సైట్ కావాలి. ఏ సైట్ కావాలి? కొత్త సైట్ కావాలా, పాత సైట్ కావాలా? 2 సినారియోస్. మొత్తం ఆల్రెడీ వర్క్ చేశారు, అవి ఎగిరిపోయిందంటే మళ్ళీ ఫస్ట్ నుంచి చేయాలి, రైట్. ఇది నా వర్క్ చేసిన సైట్. అవును, ఉంది మన దగ్గర. నా దగ్గర డేటా సేఫ్ ఉంది కదా, ఎందుకు లేదు? లేదు, నో. సి డాకర్ పిఎస్ 2 కంటైనర్స్ రన్నింగ్ కదా. ఇది ఎక్కడుంది? లెట్స్ సే ఐల్ గో టు దిస్ లైన్. సో ఐల్ సే డాకర్, ఓకే, కంటైనర్ ఇన్స్పెక్ట్ వర్డ్ప్రెస్ 1. ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇక్కడికి వెళ్ళాను అనుకోండి, చూడండి ఇక్కడ సేవ్ అయిపోయింది ఆల్రెడీ. ఇది ఎందుకు? వాల్యూమ్ చేశాను కాబట్టి. నేమ్డ్ వాల్యూమ్, నేమ్ ఇచ్చాను, ఫుల్ పాత్ ఇవ్వలేదు. శ్రీకాంత్ అన్నట్టు ఐ ఫర్గాట్ లైక్ ద టిల్డా పాత్. ఇప్పుడు వాల్యూమ్ ఉంది కానీ డేటా ఉంది కదా. ఇదండి, వేర్ ఇస్ ద సోర్స్? ఇది కదా సోర్స్. ఐ కాపీ ద సోర్స్ అండ్ ఐల్ సే sudo ls wp-config wp-settings.php మొత్తం ఉంది నా దగ్గర. బట్ ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, నేను చెప్తాను యాక్చువల్గా వాల్యూమ్ వల్ల డిసడ్వాంటేజ్ ఏంటి అని. ఇప్పుడు నేను దీన్ని అటాచ్ చేయాలంటే ఐ నీడ్ టు యూజ్ దిస్ థింగ్, వాల్యూమ్ని, అండ్ ఇట్ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ ద ఓల్డ్ కంటైనర్. ఆ కంటైనర్ రిమూవ్ చేస్తే మళ్ళీ మీరు యాడ్ చేయలేరు. అది డిసడ్వాంటేజ్ వాల్యూమ్స్తో. చూసారా అదేమంటుంది? ఆ డేటా కంటైనర్ పేరు కూడా ఇవ్వాలి. ఆ కంటైనర్ లేకపోతే యూ కెనాట్ డూ ఎనీథింగ్ ఎల్స్. ఎస్, ఆ డేటా ఉంటుంది, బట్ ఆ పర్టికులర్ డైరెక్టరీలో ఉంది కదా. మీరు నెక్స్ట్ టైం ఏం చేయొచ్చు అంటే దాన్ని కాపీ చేసుకొని ఒక పర్టికులర్ మీ హోమ్ డైరెక్టరీలో పెట్టుకొని దాన్ని లింక్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. ఎనీవే, బికాస్ రెండు సేమ్ డేటా కాబట్టి. విల్ గో విత్ దట్ వన్. సో అర్థమవుతుందా? కొంచెం కన్ఫ్యూజ్ టాపిక్, ఐ నో. ఐ మీన్ లైక్ ద మేజర్ డిసడ్వాంటేజ్ విత్ ఐ మీన్ లైక్ కంపారిజన్, మీరు వాల్యూమ్స్కి డేటా అమౌంట్స్కి కంపారిజన్ చేసుకుంటే ఇదే ప్రాబ్లం. ఎప్పుడైతే వాల్యూమ్స్లో మీరు ఒక కంటైనర్ని రిమూవ్ చేసి వాల్యూమ్ సపరేట్గా ఉంది, ఆ వాల్యూమ్ని అటాచ్ చేయాలంటే త్రూ -వాల్యూమ్స్ ఫ్రమ్ అనే కమాండ్ ఇచ్చి అది ఎర్లియర్ ఏ కంటైనర్కి అటాచ్ అయిందో ఆ కంటైనర్ నేమ్ కూడా ఇవ్వాలి. ఆ ఎర్లియర్ కంటైనర్ రిమూవ్ చేస్తే ఇట్ ఈస్ హార్డ్ టు గో అవుట్. రైట్. అలా లేదనుకుంటే మేబీ లైక్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ షూర్ వెదర్ ద సెకండ్ వే విచ్ ఐ టోల్డ్ విల్ వర్క్ ఆర్ నాట్. అక్కడ నుంచి కాపీ తీసుకొచ్చేసి ఐ వాంట్ టు కీప్ ఇట్ ఇన్ సమ్ అదర్ పర్టికులర్ లొకేషన్, లైక్ ఆ wp-file data ఉంది కదా, దానిలో కాపీ చేసేసి ఇఫ్ ఐ గివ్ ద సేమ్ స్పెసిఫిక్ పాత్ అగైన్, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ షూర్ వెదర్ ఇట్ విల్ వర్క్ ఆర్ నాట్. లెట్స్ ట్రై ఇట్ అవుట్. ఈవెన్ ఐ డిడ్ నాట్ ట్రై ఇట్ ఎనీ టైమ్. సో వాట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు డూ ఇస్ లైక్ ఈ పర్టికులర్ ఈ అండర్స్కోర్ డేటా ఉంది కదా, ఐ వాంట్ టు కీప్ ఇట్ సపరేట్లీ. చూసారా, దీని ఓనర్షిప్ కూడా 33 అండ్ సంథింగ్ ఉంది. I think maybe this is some 33 container or 33 volume I might have created, something like that, right? So I'll copy the same particular contents. Sudo cp -capital R. I want to copy var lib wp-file data, దీనిలో underscore data, and I want to copy it to home/wp-file data. right? Let it copied. Let's check ls wp hyphen file data. Okay, but okay, hard data lo undadu, it should be outside it actually. So what I'll do is like I'll say mb wp hyphen file data underscore data, move it to this location, permission, right? So what I'll do is like rm hyphen rf wp hyphen file data, and I'll say sudo move underscore data to right. Now if I say ls wp hyphen, yes, I have all that particular things. Now let's try to attach. I'm not sure but whether it will work it out, right? So what I'll say docker ps. So currently I have two containers still running, right? Let's stop those containers. Docker will not stop, we'll remove them, right? If not, anything is fine, right? Anyway, if I stop, they are not going to work, right? Docker container stop WordPress 1 and wp hyphen mysql 1, right? Both are stopped, and if I go and if I run my website again, it should be down, right? It is down, right? Now let's go and attach those back things again, right? So I'll create new containers. So let's say WordPress 2 and wp hyphen mysql 2, right? So think like we have those particular commands which we run docker container run. If not, we'll directly type it docker. Okay, it came. Okay, first let's start the MySQL container because it is linked, right? So it was telling you to start the MySQL container first. So okay, fine. Docker run hyphen d hyphen name. Let's say wp hyphen MySQL 2, right? Because I want it to be second thing, and let's say we'll go and we'll give something like a MySQL password, right? So let's say MySQL underscore root underscore password equal to, let's say, my pass hyphen v. We know it should attach it to slash MySQL hyphen no wp hyphen something, right? Wp hyphen MySQL, not file data. This is MySQL container, right? And where should it go basically? Slash var lib MySQL, and the image we want to use is MySQL, right? Yes, it went and it started one particular container. Now I want to run the another second WordPress container, right? And no, already created, right? So basically it should come up from the same thing. If I am again creating, again I need to go and work with the new website, right? Right? Docker run hyphen name. Let's say something like WordPress 2, right? And hyphen link it to wp hyphen mysql 2, and it should point to MySQL, and let's say the port number it should run on 8080 to 80, and run it in the background hyphen v. Now I should give the file data, right? Colon. Now I'm giving tilt and wp hyphen file data, and it should point to right? HTML and WordPress, correct? Docker run name WordPress 2. We are linking it to the second container we started. We are running it on port number. We are getting the data which is there. Now let's see if it works like this way. Right? I think it should work actually. Now if I say Docker PS, yes, I have two containers up and running. If I go and check it up, okay, it came. Right? So actually we removed our earlier older containers and we got the same particular data back again. So if you think it of the backup perspective, it is very easy, right? So you don't need to go and do rsyncs and everything. Now it is basically there in your particular directory and you can keep on getting the same particular data. Right? So this is like one of the important particular concepts which you can do. So what I want you to do is like, so try something like this. I want you to do load balancing. Sorry. So use Nginx. I want you to do Nginx with the help of this particular concept. Making sense? Right? So basically how many things you need for load balancing? At least 3 machines. I want you to create 3 containers. One container should do load balancing between 2 other things. Making sense? Confused? So 3 machines, I mean like 3 containers create చేసేయండి. ఒక కంటైనర్ ఎనీవే యూ నో దట్ ఇట్ వుడ్ బి డూయింగ్ ద లోడ్ బ్యాలెన్సింగ్. సో మీరు అక్కడ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్ చేంజెస్ చేయాలి ఒక్క కంటైనర్లో. మిగతా 2 కంటైనర్స్లో యూ నీడ్ టు కీప్ 2 డిఫరెంట్ వెబ్సైట్స్, వెబ్సైట్ ఏ, వెబ్సైట్ బి. సో ఎప్పుడైతే కంటైనర్ లోడ్ బ్యాలెన్సర్ కంటైనర్ని హిట్ చేస్తే ఇట్ షుడ్ ట్రాఫిక్, ఐ మీన్ ఇట్ షుడ్ రౌట్ ద ట్రాఫిక్ టు both the containers. Hint, you can use virtual hosting kind of concept here. ఎందుకంటే ఇప్పుడు యూ కెన్ రన్ మల్టిపుల్ కంటైనర్స్, రైట్? ఐ మీన్ లైక్ మీరు మల్టిపుల్ ఇంజినెక్స్ కంటైనర్స్ రన్ చేయొచ్చు విత్ ద హెల్ప్ ఆఫ్ డిఫరెంట్ పోర్ట్ నంబర్స్, రైట్? సేమ్ కాన్సెప్ట్ ఐ వాంట్ యూ టు అప్లై విత్ ద లోడ్ బ్యాలెన్సింగ్ టెక్నిక్. అండ్ ఐ వాంట్ ఇట్ టు బి available all time. So create it with the help of mounts or volumes. Mounts, anything. I think mounts makes most sense. So you can use mounts. Alright. So there is one more topic left actually. We need to do building the images. So I'll talk it tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll see that particular this thing as well. Right. Fine, I know this is confusing, but until unless you practice up and do multiple containers, right? See, even like for practice, just for running it up, we are confused a little bit because instead of creating mount points, we created volumes. Mistake first, I just missed the tilt. It created a named volume for me. Right? Got it? So I wanted to do the same particular example as well, right? If not, you can do something like this. There is something called like Drupal. It is similar like your WordPress. It is also CMS based application, and that will also require the same things. It requires PHP, it requires database, it requires the file system of Drupal. So try to implement the Drupal. Like I have installed WordPress, right? I want you to install Drupal as well. Drupal. Alright, just check it out. Check if there is already image there or not. Just like try it out. Okay, let's see. You definitely have image because it's one of the famous kind of things actually. You will 100% have Drupal, I guess. Yeah, you have the official image. If image is not found, you are the one who need to build the image. That tomorrow we'll see. We can build our own images if something is not available, right? And tomorrow I'll show you how your node applications work as well, mean stack applications. So we'll build in such a way that uh, okay, we'll do something like in real time as well. So basically these things, right, whenever you're building images, they will directly come from your SCM only, from your GitHub. Along with your code you have the Docker. So whenever you're running this code, automatically an image would be built across it, and on the fly it starts running it, right? Just try it out. So I mean like that we'll see, but for tomorrow's class at least like try it out how you can create a load balancer with the help of 3 Nginx containers, and also try to implement something like Drupal. See if you are able to do the same thing, right? I want you to build something like Drupal. I just need some WordPress, I mean like WordPress, that console, right? I want to see just this particular Drupal as well, right? So that's it.